fix them. And I'm still too, what do you call it? Okay, I hate to be too far. Hello again. Welcome to Faith Night Friday. Okay, so you know what? I need to pick you guys up a little bit more. Give me a second. It's like you guys are like all the way. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. Just let me fix these guys a bit, okay? Okay, hello. Okay, I think guys are a little bit more better now. Okay, so as I was talking about Ruth last week on Friday, and I think I only read the first chapter. And as we know, I'm going off the book, the Bible in 52 weeks. And I am already on, I'm already on week 16. So we were doing Ruth, and I'm going to check this off because I already read it. And then we are going to move on to Samuel after we're done with these 4 chapters, okay? So as we go to, I don't think I took any notes on this one because it's more of the same stuff that I was reading last week, even though I have my notebook over there. So I'm just going to jump into it, and I'm just going to start reading. Again, the chapters are not long. They're short, so that's a come out of mine. I'm just looking at the clock. Mind reading them because unlike other chapters in the Bible, they are like really, really long. Okay, so we're going to start with chapter 2. We already did 1, and Ruth works in the field of Boaz. Okay, so Naomi had a relative named Boaz, a rich and influential man who belonged to the family of her husband, Elimelech. One day, Ruth said to Naomi, "Let me go to the fields to gather the grain that the harvest workers leave. I am sure to find someone who will let me work with him." Naomi answered, "Go ahead, daughter." So Ruth went out to the fields and walked behind the workers, picking up the heads of the grains which they left. It so happened that she was in a field that belonged to Boaz. Same time later, Boaz himself arrived from Bethlehem and greeted the workers. "The Lord be with you," he said. "The Lord bless you," they answered. Boaz asked the man in charge, "Who is this young woman?" The man answered, "She is the foreign girl who came back from Moab with Naomi. She asked me to let her follow the workers and gather grain. She has been working since early morning and has just now stopped to rest for a while under the shelter." Then Boaz said to Ruth, "Let me give you some advice. Don't gather anywhere except in this field. Work with the women here. Watch them to see where they are reaping and stay with them. I have ordered my men not to molest you. And whenever you are thirsty, go and drink from the water jars that they have filled." Ruth bowed with her face touching the ground and said to Boaz, "Why should you be so concerned about me? Why should you be so kind to a foreigner?" Boaz answered, "I have heard about everything that you have done for your mother-in-law since your husband died. I know how you left your father and mother and your own country and how you came to live among a people you had never known before. May the Lord reward you for what you have done. May you have a full reward from the Lord God of Israel, to whom you have come for protection." Ruth answered, "You are very kind to me, sir. You have made me feel better by speaking gently to me, even though I am not the equal of one of your servants. And mealtime, Boaz said to Ruth, "Come and have a piece of bread and dip it in the sauce." So she sat with the workers, and Boaz passed some roasted grain to her. She ate until she was satisfied, and she still had some food left over. After she had left to go gather grain, Boaz ordered the workers, "Let her gather grain enough where the bundles are lying, and don't say anything to stop her. Besides that, pull out some heads of grain from the bundles and leave them for her to pick up." So Ruth gathered the grain in the field until evening, and when she had beaten it down, she found she had nearly 25 pounds. She took the grain back into town and showed her mother-in-law how much she had gathered. She also gave her the food left over from the meal. Naomi asked her, "Where did you gather all this grain today? Whose field have you been working in? May God bless the man who took an interest in you." So Ruth told Naomi that she had been working in a field belonging to a man named Boaz. May the Lord bless Boaz," Naomi exclaimed. "The Lord always keeps his promises to the living and the dead." And she went on, "That man is a close relative of ours, one of those responsible for taking care of us." Then Ruth said, "The best of all, he told me to keep gathering grain with his workers until they finish the harvest." Naomi said to Ruth, "Yes, daughter, it would be better for you to work with the woman in Boaz's field. You might be molested if you went to someone else's field." So Ruth worked with them and gathered grain until the barley and wheat had been harvested, and she continued to live with her mother-in-law. Okay, so right there, I don't know, for some reason I feel like, because the way the whole story was going, sometimes I feel like it should have been called the book of Naomi and not so much the book of Ruth, because everything happened like to Naomi. But because of oh, where's the dog?
I have to put him on the leash, but I'm going back out there, and I'm gonna keep him there just for.
I don't want him on the leash. He's gonna keep barking. You need to ask me when you do something like that.
But he kept jumping onto my face.
Okay, well then.
Slapping me.
Okay, well then you stay here, and I'll have Toy. Call Toy. I'm sorry, guys.
Jose. Jose, I don't need you.
Hippo, go eat. Your food is on the table. Yeah, so, but because can you unleash the dog and bring him in? Get him by the collar because he's already on the leash. Where did Hippo go? Can you go unleash the dog, grab him by the collar, and bring him in? And I didn't tell Hippo to go, because he put him on the chain outside. He's going to be barking. Can you go do that? You know what? Forget it. I'll do it. What, are you going to go? You're going to put your shoes? I need you to hurry because he's already barking. And bring him in. Huh? Just unhook it. But make sure you hold the collar and bring him in. Okay? And bring him inside. Okay. So because how faithful she was in, not leaving Naomi's side. So she was faithful as a servant. But I don't know. I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. But okay, so we're going on, and we are going to read the commentary of what it has to say about Ruth. So we're going to the commentary. I use Nelson's quick reference if you want to take a picture of it and find one just like it or order something like it, online. Okay, so in chapter 2, Ruth was a young believer, but she knew enough of the word to understand that she was permitted to glean in the fields during the harvest. She trusted the God who was concerned about widows and the poor, and did not fail. When we trust God and obey Him, He begins to work on our behalf. There were at least 2 men in Bethlehem who could permanently deliver Ruth and Naomi from their poverty and loneliness. And God providentially led Ruth to the field of one of them. And his name, of course, was Boaz. It was not the bitterness of Naomi, but the faithfulness of Ruth. And that changed the picture. Please go eat.
Well, this screw is loose on the door in the back.
Okay, go eat.
I'm gonna go home again.
All right. What door?
The back door.
Okay, I'll look at it. Boaz protected Ruth and provided for her even before she discovered who he was. On his part, it was probably love at first sight. Instead of living on leftovers, Ruth became a friend of the Lord of the harvest, who gave her generous gifts. Can you see in all of this a big picture of what Christ has done for his own? So that's where we're gonna leave it at that. Where was this? Under his wing. The image where it says under his wing, Ruth 2:12. The image refers to Holy of Holies in the tabernacle, where the wings of the cherubim overshadowed the mercy seat. To be under his wings means to be in the place of security and fellowship with God. And that is important because sometimes when when we fall, when we're under grace with the Lord, we are also under his wing. We are covered by him. And he keeps us, in security, keeps us safe. And he keeps us in fellowship with him. Okay? With God. Believers should abide in him and enter into the holies of holies. God's people are outside the camp, but living inside the veil in the holies of holies, in the holy of holies. Now I don't know, in the holy of holies, I mean, you can kind of like consider that like not so much, making your temple and it being, totally free from sin, because you're presenting yourself as holiness to the Lord. So you don't want, your tabernacle or your vessel to be like tainted, in other words, of any wrongdoing or anything like that, because you're always, especially when you're coming to the holies of holies. To me, entering the holies of holies usually means, like, for me, like going into your prayer room or going into a prayer closet. I mean, I used to do that sometimes back in the day. Me and my husband used to make like a little prayer room, and we would go in there and we would just like be in the dark and just, pray. But then I kind of like went away from that, and then I just ended up like making a little room with a desk. It was a closet. It was really small. And then I just started like, putting books in my Bible, reading, and then just spending time with the Lord in there, and just giving, just spending time within the holies of holies. But then I kind of like steered away from that too. And I'm like, you know what? As long as my body is the vessel where it's not tainted and it's free from sins, I can go to the holies of holies wherever. I don't really have to hide in a closet or be behind closed doors. I mean, you can. I do believe there is a verse, and I'll try to find it, where a lot of people have their prayer closets. You can do that. But I don't know. I just feel like I just rather do it within my mind, with my heart. And I don't have to be in the dark. I mean, you can, because when you're in that state, in full darkness, because believe it or not, I hate it when this happens. Okay, give me a second. I'm sorry. I'm just, okay. All right. So, when you're in that space of darkness, you can see a lot even though you're in the darkness. With your mind, I'm saying. Your mind will see it. As I come, it doesn't really matter because when you close your eyes, you're in the dark anyway. And then the light of God comes in, and then he shows you things because he is the light. So you really don't really have to be in the dark. I have heard of a lot of people who were like, they make a prayer closet or whatever, and they're in the dark. And I had this one friend who my husband used to be with, and he one time was in his prayer closet, and he said he was praying like for hours, which to him only seemed like a few minutes, but for him it felt like he was, when he came out of that closet, he was in there for a long time. But as far as he felt, he said he was only in there, it felt like he was only in there for, not that long, like for a few minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops. I think that's what he said. I can't quote it word for word. But you have to remember, our time and God's time is not the same. It's not the same. So even though he was in there for hours, but he knew he was in there for hours, but when his wife opened the door, I think it was his wife, she felt a powerful presence that came out of that door when she opened it. And she couldn't believe what she felt. It was like, what was that? That was the Lord. That was God's presence that was in there with him. So who knows what God showed him, But again, that's something that I would practice if you really want to touch on the supernatural, different realms that the Lord has. That's why I say, if you really, really want to touch on the things of God, and if you don't believe in the things of God, test it out. Try it for yourself. And give it a go. What are you going to lose? So if you really want to know if something is true, be like scientists. Find out. Do what it says. See if it's true or not. The proof is in the pudding. That's how I see it. So there's just so much. There's so much about the prayer closet and all that stuff. But I have been in the holies of holies, but mentally, with my mind, I have been and saw heavenly places again in my dreams, and they were like dreams that I can in detail explain what I saw as if I had the dream last night. That's how good I remember these dreams. And but again, that's how I enter the Holy of Holies. If not mentally, with my mind, through my dreams. But again, that's something that I do maybe when I move. I don't know. I'll probably make a little closet and do the same thing. I would love to experience what, my husband's friend did. I would love that. I never went through that, but I would love to experience that. So, but yeah, so think about it. If you want to make that prayer closet, go ahead. But it does take, even though you might think, I would give the heads up to whoever you're with and let them know not to bother you. You're going to be, it might be 10 minutes, it might be 4 hours. You just don't know how long it's going to be. Just warn the person, don't open this door until I come out. It's almost like, what do you have those people who take pictures like in a dark room, you know, photography, and they have that little light on, and they don't come in this room if the red light is on. It's almost like that. Don't enter that room. Enter at your own risk. I know, you know, the power of the Lord can throw somebody, so yeah, just be careful. Okay, but yeah, again, the story of Ruth is more like a love story. I think I had mentioned, I got my book on my whole computer on top of the book, but it's like, and I think, well, you know, I can read it from here. It's just to backtrack a little bit. If you're just coming on and you wanted to know about Ruth. What did I do with that? Okay. So, just a basic story. I'll just read it again right here. Okay, so the 4 chapters of Ruth are 4 acts in a drama. One is full of tears, the second is a lot of toil, the third one is trust, and then, of course, the last one is triumphant. The book begins with funerals and ends with a wedding. Naomi moves back from a bitterness to blessedness, and Ruth moves from loneliness to love. And what a picture of the grace of God. So, yeah, so it kind of like, even though Ruth, you know, in the book, she wasn't really like, I mean, if you read about it, she was supposed to go back after, guys, come on, hippo, sit down over there. And then can you give me a few more minutes, please? Can you just, can you get on the bed without jumping on him, please?
Yes.
Okay. And I think there was a famine in Bethlehem, so she ended up leaving. I don't know. I mean, you would go somewhere else if there was a lot of you didn't have food, and you would go somewhere else. But they took so long to get back that within that time, her sons, you know, I don't know how old her sons were when they left, but they were at the age where they got married. Sad that she never had grandchildren until finally, you know, she got married to Boaz, and then they had a grandchild. I mean, Naomi had a grandchild, and his name was Samuel. So, but in the process, them leaving and not ever going back, and then she felt like ashamed of bringing these 2 girls who weren't from Israel back, and that was like a sin to God that, you know, you weren't supposed to engage with these people, but there it is. And the sad part was that her husband died, and so did her son.
Grandma,
so
what's wrong with my tablet?
I don't know.
What? My tablet keeps being this way.
I don't know. So yeah, so read the book yourself. Like I said, there are just so many ways for you to engage with the word. I mean, you can watch movies, you could read the book, commentaries. There are even animated versions of the book of Ruth. So if you don't want to get into something so serious, so they even had animated, which I think was cute too. I mean, it's for children, but I enjoyed it. So hey, I'll take whatever I can be fed from it. You know, if you can't get it this way, get it that way. If you can't get it that way, get it this way. But bottom line, feed yourself the word. Learn the word so that in turn, it can help you out in the near future. The more you start now, the better it is for you, because you have to remember, this thing is our sword. This thing is the thing that are going to be slashing down the enemies and those that we shouldn't be around, and yeah, demons and all that other bad stuff that shouldn't be in your life. So the word is our sword, and the more we know it, the more it will protect us. Okay guys, so that is it. I'm 24 minutes in. So, like a fish in the sea. So glad you caught me, and we will catch you in my next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and definitely comment. Okay, guys, we'll see you later. Bye.